Hello, welcome to Carding Beam, where we train construction professionals, including architects, fundis, civil engineer, QS, construction managers are all going to benefit. My name is Lucas Chacha. I'm going to be your instructor in this tutorial, whereby I will be showing you something to do with the ProtaStructure on how to model the beam end conditions or on how to do beam end condition. You can remember we had previously modeled these beams here, and we started modeling the entire of this structure up to this level. So the next thing that we want to do is to define our beam end conditions. Thereafter, we will proceed to adding our slabs. So to look at the beam end conditions, know that there are some places that we have fixed and others we have hinged. So you remember that if you are doing manual calculation, you will either consider these beams either being continuous or discontinued. So for instance, looking at this beam, on the left side, you realize that it's being discontinued. So if you draw your bending moment, so to speak, it will come here, it will start with 0, it will increase towards the maximum towards the center, and then it will decrease. But when it comes to this joint, because it's a continuous one, it will not reach 0. The moment here will tend to increase as it comes apart due to bending moment on top, and then it will reduce. So that's what basically I want to show you. So to do that, you simply click on a beam like this, then right click, and then look for where it is written update beam end condition. So if it's hinged at left, then it means that the moment toward the left is 0. So for our case, I can say that's okay, and then I can say apply. And you can see that the red button here. So that shows you that you have defined that beam end condition. The reason is that by doing this, we'll reduce the moments that are acting at this corner, and by reducing the moments, will also use lesser reinforcements, which this reinforcement also implicates into cost. So the lesser reinforcements that you use, the lesser the cost. So in one way, you are doing an economical design by considering your beam end conditions, and like you have left them like that. So it means that you use more reinforcement to counter the moments there. So to do that, you can go in your structure, you select the members that have similar beam end conditions, and then you apply. For instance, I can have this beam here, and then let me choose this one. Just come down, choose this one here. So all these will have similar beam end condition. Choose that. Choose that. Then choose this one. Do you have any other? Yes, choose this one. Yes, choose this one. Which one else? Which one else? Which one else? For this case, those are the beam end conditions towards the left, and you simply come update, and you update this hinge left, and then apply. So if you look, all of them have been affected by what the action that you have just taken. Then I can come to the beam end condition towards the left, and then you simply select this, select this, select this, select this, select this, select this one, select this one, and you can also select this one. So select this one, Then you simply right click and then you define your beam end condition. They are hinged towards the J, not I. Just to explain, so you can see we have this, the red button, this one. It shows that you have already defined those. Also define this part. You can see there it is. You can see this one. All those beam end conditions have been defined. Then you can come for this one, the upper one. Remember that if you are, let me just demonstrate here. If you have this beam end condition, let's say this one here is your beam end condition, the upper side is called it's considered to be the right side, and it's denoted as J if you have a vertical beam like this. And then the lower side is the left side, and it's considered as I. Similar, if you have maybe a horizontal beam like this, running like that, the left side is considered I and the right side is considered J. So when you go to apply your moments, you can now know where to apply for I and where to apply for J. So let's go back to our design. If you come to this design here, you simply come and look at this, the upper side. So remember that the upper side will be known as J, while the lower side or this is the upper side, this is the lower side. The northern side will be J, the southern side will be I. So you simply click on this. So this one I had already applied the beam end condition. So let me just simply select my beams here. Remember, if you don't select, the software will assume that everything is fixed. But if you select and define, then you help the software to do the right thing. We have those one. We have any other? Yes, we have this member here. We have any other member? Yes, you can do that, and then simply right click, go to update beam end condition, and you will go to J, and then right click, and then say apply. So the next thing, that's just to define the lower part. So these ones, so we'll come and pick on this, also come here and look at this, pick on this, come to this side and pick on this one, and also pick this one. Right click, come to this, so beam end condition, this one, beam end condition. So we are using because it's on the lower side, then we're using it's like considered to be the left, and on this one J, not J but I, that way. So we have them here. I think I've done the rest, no need of defining them like fixed, like this one. Already the software will pick them as fixed and want that one to be the case. So we are done with that chapter. Let's now see our next part of adding slabs in this model. The next step will be adding of slabs. So let's meet in the next session. Thank you for listening, and remember to subscribe.